bug, we'll be playing all night. Need an invite to the bug, we ain't got a real life. You're gonna have to link your GS. Link it to me, link it to me, link it to me. Unless you got a good DPS. Link it to me, link it to me.
Hey guys, FNAF here. Gonna be doing reactions to Game Theory, FNAF 4, Got It All Wrong by Game Theorists, and recommended by Marquise Pixley. There we go. It's hard to remember these things. Yeah, just found out my mom's dog just passed away this morning. I went to check on her, and yeah, she didn't move. I tried everything. She was a good dog. It's kind of sad she went at such a young age. We just couldn't really figure out what the heck was wrong with her. We even took her to the vet. That's life, I guess. But anyway, let's get to the video.
Sorry, Scott Cawthon. I'm tired of waiting for you. This time you'll have to keep up with me.
That stopped him.
Yeah, but man, a spike strip? I mean, couldn't we have tried a warning first?
Yeah, we could have, but we didn't.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, can't really dwell on those who have died. I mean, you can. I mean, at first you always do, but you have to move forward.
Hello, Internet! Welcome to
No point
Game
standing
Theory,
still.
where instead of waiting for FNAF 4 to be released, this time we're getting out ahead of the game. Or at least that was the plan. Scott, I swear, you are the biggest internet troll out there. Oh, it's being released October 31st. Okay, let me plan my entire schedule around that. Never mind, it's now in August. Okay, fine, let me rework everything. Lols, here's the full version now.
God fucking damn it!
You, Scott Cawthon, are the reason I have an emotional dependence on Diet Coke. But today I'll be sipping that sweet Diet Coke and sweet
beverages are
victory.
nasty.
Because guess what? I win! Scott, in your rush to get the game out, to get out ahead of my theories and completely flim-flam the internet and shock everyone by releasing the game 3 months early, you missed a huge detail. Maybe before releasing the game, you should have spent a bit more time researching, because this game, as you've presented it, is impossible. Let me explain. Basically, it's all but confirmed at this point that in FNAF 4 you play as the victim of the bite of 87, and that this game is either his nightmare or what he's seeing in a coma as he recovers from his injuries. Let me run you through the evidence real quick so that we're all on the same page. First, in months leading up to the release of the game, there were clues hidden in the source code for
I
some of
don't
the
know the game very well, I just reacted to one of the videos.
87 repeated over and over again. Two numbers that anyone who hasn't been living under a rock will recognize as a key date in the franchise's lore. The bite of 87. This is further supported by the
Like I said, I've never played the game, so I have no idea.
All of the pictures released on the site basically ask the same question. Was it me? Which seems to refer to the actual attacker of the bite itself. But there was one more word we saw repeated throughout the teasers. Nightmare. Hidden over top of multiple teaser images was that exact word. That, combined with the Freddy Krueger-ish design of the animatronics, with teeth and claws everywhere, something far different from how we've seen these things designed in the past, seemed to indicate that this would be the way a child would imagine these creatures if he had had a traumatic experience with them, making it seem like what we would be playing would be a dream. Couple that with some evidence from the trailer. The first words are, what is it you think you see? Making us question the reality of the images in the game. But there was also something that everyone seemed to overlook about this trailer.
I kind of sort of saw that game on someone else's
Scott
video.
doesn't do things randomly, as I'm sure we're all aware by now. And notice the movement of the 4. It starts off in a horizontal plane, like it was laying down on something, say a bed, but then wakes up to stand vertically before the trailer ends. Even that remnant red rectangle is meant to symbolize the bed. Everything seems to be letting us know that what we're seeing isn't really real, it's a dream, or better yet, a nightmare. Now, fast forward to the game's release. I don't think I've seen that cartoon. Or, I suppose, casually meander to the game's release, since it wasn't too long afterwards. And we see that this theory still holds. Flowers, an IV, and pills will occasionally show up next to your bed. Classical medical supply.
Who said anything about dying?
Uncle Glenn, am I dying?
No, sweetheart, you're not dying. because we're gonna see Santa, and he's gonna bring you a new brain. Get out of here. Just get out of here. Should have gone into politics.
That show us that this is a child in recovery.
Oh,
Foxy,
recovering, okay.
Who's hiding in a closet, will transform back to a plush
Sorry,
toy if
my
you hold
mind's-
the door closed
yeah.
on him long enough, making it seem like this was all a dream or hallucination. And of course, the biggest piece of evidence of all, the cutscene that ends Night 5, which, if you don't want to spoiler,
Guys,
click here to skip.
Just as
All of you skip now.
or have the helmet
Good.
or
Actually
masks.
shows the bite of 87 take place in the
oh,
mouth
the
of
teenagers,
golden
you little
Fredbear.
shits.
This is further supported by the quote-unquote boss of the game being that same golden Fredbear, where in the final nights, he's the one who ends up stalking you. All the other animatronics disappear. You're being haunted by the suit that bit you. So yeah, that's it. All the evidence points to the victim of 87 being our protagonist.
And it
The
wasn't really
character we're
Machine's
playing
fault
as
in the
in FNAF
beginning. It was
4.
just a
Good
bunch
job,
of
Scott.
jackass
you finally
teenagers.
put together a game with a coherent plot line.
Not all teenagers are bad, just the
You
bad
did.
ones are the bad.
Scott Cawthon, if all of us are right in our theory, then you, sir, are wrong. Just when it looked like you were making a game that actually adhered to its own lore, you also made a game that is completely impossible from a scientific perspective.
Huh?
Loyal theorists, it's time we give Scott's latest bag
What's
of
the point of
tricks
the game,
a little
then?
lesson
Isn't it just to
in
be jump scared
real-life
and die?
science. While frontal lobe injuries aren't as uncommon as people think, actually they happen all the time in car accidents, playing football, falling down, etc., having your whole frontal lobe bitten off has a much more profound impact on mental and physical functions.
I'm so glad you patched things up with your friends.
Have I told you that we're all friends again?
Yes, now we were just talking about it.
You're gonna take me to the zoo and roll me around. And we're all friends again.
It would come with a whole slew of symptoms from motor skill impairment to nervous
He actually had it bit
The
off?
side effects we're most concerned with today would all be psychological. Removal of the frontal lobe significantly impacts the victim's ability to process certain types of stimuli, specifically fear stimuli. Let me give you some backstory. In the good old 1940s and 50s, psychiatrists often thought the best way to cure problems with the brain were to cut pieces out. Feeling depressed? Well, let's slice that out. Overly aggressive? That chunk probably wasn't important. As such, there
That
are extremely
sounds
well-documented
disturbing.
studies of patients without frontal lobes, and what's fascinating about them was what happened to their fear response. Patients without a frontal lobe become uninhibited because they no longer have a fear response. Way back in the Fallout episode, we looked in depth at the most famous accidental lobotomy in history, Phineas Gage, who literally had an iron rod shot straight through his head, completely destroying his left frontal lobe. One of the most striking differences between pre-Pole Phineas and post-Pole Phineas was his sense of inhibition. And by that I mean post-Pole Phineas had none. He had no sense of caution, no sense of fear or self-consciousness. He was described to be impulsive to the point of being rude and vulgar in public. No fear, no anxiety, no social pressure anywhere. Going back to the game,
So I guess
one of
that
the
means
things
my
Scott
frontal
does a
lobe
great
is
job
might
of
be
throughout the FNAF
damaged
franchise
or
is
something.
putting you in the
Okay,
eyes
not
of
the-
Mike
I'd have
or
too much
Jeremy
fear,
or
is what I'm
whoever.
saying.
We feel invested in our protagonist because we
I
are
admit it.
that character. But in this case, that's scientifically impossible, specifically because of the bite of 87. If the main character of this game truly is little Timmy lost a lobe, he wouldn't wander around a house clicking a flashlight on and off. Why would he? He doesn't care, because tragically, he no longer has the capacity to care. His brain structure no longer allows it. As if this weren't enough, a
So he's like a
frontal lobe
zombie.
injury also tampers with concentration and attention span. The main character in the game is still supposed to be concentrated over a long period of multiple hours. But the thing is, patients without frontal lobes don't have this ability. In fact, they can only stay focused on what they see immediately happening in front of them. A child missing a frontal lobe who repeatedly turned a flashlight on and off in a hallway without seeing anything would lose interest. They wouldn't have the mental wiring necessary to concentrate on self-preservation. They would literally just go back to bed. The game is impossible the way it's being presented, because it would literally be over before before it began. But the final and biggest nail in the coffin for this one is how frontal lobe injuries affect the imagination. The frontal lobe controls a ton of mental processing abilities, including dreams. You might think that an uncontrollable imagination would lead to exactly the kind of
I have
nightmares
very
or
lucid
hallucinations
dreams,
you see
meaning
in
I
this
have
game,
complete
but in fact,
control
it's
over
the
it.
exact
You're a little too heavy, buddy.
Yeah!
We're going down.
Yeah!
opposite. Rigorous
Almost
studies have been
complete.
done on the
We
imagination
also
and dream
go with the
states
flow.
of lobotomized patients. While patients without a frontal lobe can have dreams, one thing they can't have is nightmares. Patients missing a frontal lobe carry
Oh,
their
I got
lack of
plenty of
fear and
those, like
inhibition straight into their
volcanoes,
dreams. And why not?
the land's
It
being
makes
ripped
sense.
apart.
If the mind isn't registering fear consciously, there's no reason to process it
Tsunamis.
subconsciously in a dream.
All
Studies
that
show that
fun stuff.
lobotomized patients can dream about
I want a
idyllic
giant red planet
scenarios,
slamming
money,
into ours.
fame,
That's
praise,
fun.
but they can't dream about the monsters under the bed.
Oh, those
Or in
doomsday
this
people.
case, the Foxy in the closet, making the nightmare state of FNAF 4 impossible for the victim of the bite of 87. In fact, going back to the dark days of psychiatry, some patients who experience the kind of recurring nightmare we see in FNAF 4 actually had their frontal lobes intentionally removed to stop these dreams from happening. One famous case describes a patient who was experiencing a recurring dream of being chased by ferocious animals. After the patient received the lobotomy in 1953,
Yeah, but dreams have
yes,
meaning.
he still had the dream.
The monsters
but
are
would
more likely
instead
the people.
Describe it as being a nice dream with some nice animals. His visions in the dream were no longer threatening. The animals were happy. He was happy, and he was no longer able to perceive any of the fear he once had prior to the surgery. So scientifically speaking, there is no single way the main character of FNAF 4 can be the bite of 87 victim, like Scott seems to have indicated. Sure, the game could be about another kid, I guess, but that would be lame. No, this game is meant to be about the victim of the bite of 87, the poor kid who wasn't just attacked at the restaurant, but continues to be tortured through nightmarish visions, dreams, coma-induced
But he can't get
hallucinations,
scared by it, is a problem.
I have zero doubt that that's what Scott intended, but the fact of the matter is, he just didn't do enough homework. A kid with those sorts of injuries wouldn't care about those things in the first place. He would have no fear, and there would be no animatronics, real or imaginary, that would be able to keep him up at night.
Yeah.
Biologically speaking, nothing he would be experiencing would be any scarier than the fan.
You really hate the
Sorry,
fan,
Scott.
don't you?
Better luck in the movie. But hey, that's just a theory. A game theory. Thanks for watching. So that's the science of FNAF 4, but I'm working on picking apart the lore now. It'll take a few weeks, so make sure you subscribe to get notified of when that comes out. And to help you wait, click here to check out my all-new theory on how the characters in Dragon Ball Z
Funny,
pull off their
Kamehameha is
powers
actually a
from the
Hawaiian
waves. The science
word.
behind it all is actually
I forgot what it
incredibly
meant, though.
cool. I mean, who hasn't wanted the ability to shoot energy beams out of their hands?
Speaking of
right?
which, it's
So
having
anyway,
one
click
hell of a
there to
volcanic
check it
eruption
out,
going
or
on.
if you're in the mood for more FNAF goodness, binge watch some more creepy theories on the franchise by jump scaring this box right here. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go get a lobotomy so I don't have a fear response to that fan anymore. Oh, the fan. It's purple now? Forget purple man, purple fan? Ugh. My arch nemesis lives on. Oh, and by the way, get comfortable. The Steam page for this says it's the end of the original story. Which means
Holy
there are
crap,
gonna
you
be
get a lot of
plenty more
messages.
on the way. We have yet to leave Freddy Fazbear.
I'm not that popular. I gotta get better at this. If I wasn't so lazy. Oh, let's just face it, we're all lazy. But yeah, the whole Hawaiian thing, everyone's talking about it. I've been watching Secure Team, a UFO guy. He usually talks about UFOs, but this time the volcano's got his attention for some odd reason. But I've also watched other people's YouTubes about the Hawaiian island. Apparently, that island has a, like where the volcanoes are erupting, it kind of sounds like a chunk of it is due to rip off. I mean, a huge mass of that land is going to hit the Pacific, causing a tidal wave. But more than likely, if that does happen, everyone will get plenty of warning to get the hell out. Especially on the coast, like on the Puget Sound, and you know, like all the west coast of United States, and also South America. Yeah, all the Americas. Yeah, let's say that. But yeah, that went off. I'm assuming the tile wise will probably be the size of 3 to 4 story building, maybe. Maybe. I mean, we've seen all the other tileways on TV, like I think the 2006 one. That was actually a baby compared to that. Probably this one, because if it comes out, I mean, if it comes out slowly into the ocean, it's not going to be one big burst. It's probably going to be like a flooded roadways, like, but the show will be like, oh, it's going to work. Where the hell did this water come from? God damn it. Well, I'm not going to have a good day with all wet, soggy shoes. But, yeah, all sorts of weird, crazy stuff's been going on around the world. I love gathering info about that stuff. In the past, the doomsday stuff would traumatize the crap out of me, but now it's just curious. Just like people, the Nibiru stuff, it's fun to check it out, see like, is it real, is it not? I could check it out for myself. It looks fake, but it looks interesting. It's like a little cartoon, not cartoon, but it's like a little TV show just watching. Yeah, they're trying to make it sound like real, but it's really up to you to decide if it is. I mean, they've been barking about the beer stuff for so long, it's ridiculous. It'll show up this year. Oh, okay, next year. Okay, you're after that. We're definitely sure it's gonna happen this year. I'm at the point I'm just watching these shows because it's a little interesting. But besides that, hope you guys liked the video. Sorry about trailing on. And have a nice day.
This is not a game.